Hey everybody, Chef Britt here with atbbq.com, and today we are making a bacon and onion flatbread on the Roccbox. All right, so this is not just any bacon and onion flatbread. This is also known as a Flammkuchen, also known as an Alsatian tart or Tarte Flambee. So it's basically a really thin piece of lean dough or pizza dough that is topped with creme fraiche, bacon, and onions. It's really simple and it's really fun to make. Let's just hop in here, okay? All right, so today we're using Chef Tom's go-to pizza dough recipe. Now I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check that out. But right now we're doubled in size and we're ready to fold the dough. So with slightly oiled hands, I'm gonna reach down and grab the corners and I'm just gonna fold it over. And this is gonna help create that gluten strength that we want, but also to sort of redistribute the yeast activity. All right, so I'm gonna work with this dough in its entirety. Now you can divide it if you want. So I'm just gonna throw down a little flour. So I'm just gonna square it up a little bit. And I need to make sure I've got lots of flour to work with so it doesn't stick to the table. But we're gonna roll this out really thin. So if this dough is fighting you a little bit, you might just give it a couple minutes of rest time to really let that gluten relax. What I'm trying to do is get it as thin as I possibly can. And I want to make sure that I keep some flour underneath the surface. I want to be able for it to stretch in its own way and not get stuck to the table. And we are going for about 1/8 of an inch thickness. We're getting pretty close. I can kind of really see that gluten structure there thinning out, but my edges are still a little too thick. I don't expect this to go out completely evenly square. Even if it has a little oblong shape, that's fine. So I'm going to use the peel as my guide because obviously this is way too big for our cute little Roccbox. And yeah, it's cute. I'm going to start by just trimming up the edges. Just going to try and go for some straight lines here, just to show you how you can do that, achieve that. All right, now we're just gonna divide this up into 4 nice pieces. So what I like to do is I actually like to freeze these. So I'm gonna move these onto a piece of parchment and pop them in the freezer so that they're easier to handle when I'm ready to bake them. So you can make these days ahead of time if you want, which is really convenient if you are prepping for your family or you like to get ahead on projects. You sneaky devil. Okay. I'm gonna put these into the freezer now. And I know you guys are gonna be wondering about the scraps. Well, this is what I did. I rounded them out and they've bench rested here for about 10-15 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll that out as well. And you can even kind of stretch it out by hand. This is just kind of tricky because The dough can tear if you get it really thin and aren't careful enough, but it should just kind of relax into its own shape. You don't want to over flour as well. Notice I'm being just kind of ginger and lightly tossing it over the surface. I'm not trying to dump a bunch on top. But I'm going to continue using this rolling pin to get the thinness that I prefer. I'd say that one is about there. Now I've got the Roccbox turned on, it's preheating, so while it does that, we're gonna get our toppings made. We'll start with an onion. A white onion is traditional. We're gonna go fast today. But we're gonna go for a pretty thin slice. Into the cast iron, we'll get some bacon diced up. We're gonna throw those in too. All right, now we're just gonna let this go in and heat up a little bit and kind of soften those onions. All right, so we're not really looking to crisp up the bacon, but we are looking to just soften up those onions and get the bacon sort of started. All right, now we're gonna get our sauce built. So the base is going to be creme fraiche. Now, you can use sour cream if you're in a spot. You could even make your own sour cream if you happen to have a little buttermilk and some heavy cream on hand. But we're going just plain with a little extra help. I'm gonna do some hickory smoked salt from Noble Salt Works. And that's gonna give us a lot of that smoky wood flavor. We're gonna follow up with just a little bit of white pepper. If you don't have that on hand, you can use black pepper too. And then to give it really authentic flavor, a little fresh grated nutmeg. I'll just mix that all around. All right, let's give it a taste. I think I'm going to do a little more nutmeg. And a touch more pepper. Sweet. All right, so now that we have our toppings made, the next part that we're going to do is cook the pizzas. So we have to work fast because the dough is so thin, even out of the freezer, it thaws like in no time. So I'm gonna first get some flour on the peel. Just a light coating. Okay. So right in there, we're gonna go for a really thin coating. I like going right up to the edges. But this stuff basically just melts into butter, so you don't want too much of it because it'll just start overflowing off of the pizza. And we'll get all of our bacon and onions on there. There we go. All right, let's go. In real time, this is probably only going to take about 60 seconds total. About halfway through, and get in there, turn it around. Back in. Beautiful. Let's look at the bottom. Looks good. So I'd say this is a great size for an individual or as a nice little appetizer for a group. Let's take a bite. Look at that. Nice little leoparding on the bottom. It's a technical term. I think when I first tried this, I kind of did a move like a little dance. No, for real though, this is amazing. The nutmeg is really nice and gives it that authentic flavor. And the flavor base too is even really versatile. You could add mushrooms, even maybe like a fried egg situation, make it kind of breakfasty, but man, the thin crust is really pleasing. I like that you can make the crust ahead of time too. And you don't have to limit yourself to these toppings. That's it for me today. If you guys want to check out more recipes, tips, and techniques, you want to see more breads, more pizzas, head on over to atbbq.com/thesauce. And if you want to check out any of these products, you want to see what colors of Roccbox we've got, check out atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.